Hello, everybody. So this will be the discussions for your week 11. Since we were not able to have our class for litera for both CO3 and CO4, since you have decided that we will be going to have a pre-recorded video instead of having a face-to-face class for tomorrow, since you've actually chosen the pre-recorded video. So I am working on it so that you will begin to have a reference with our discussion. So at the end of this session, actually, there will be a type of task that you will also need to work on, that you have to put a certain thing in the comment section. So let's actually discuss this topic. And our topic in this discussion will deal all about the digital citizenship. When we say digital citizenship, that is actually defined as, um, let me go next. I'm sorry, it is defined by the quality of habits, actions, and consumptions patterns that impact the ecology of digital content and communities. So, actually, class in digital citizenship, this is actually refers to yourself, of on how you are actually acting, or how responsible you are, how you follow the ethical standards, those etiquettes or netiquettes that we call actually. So we are trying to base that is related into the previous discussions that we do have. If you can certainly remember those discussions that we've identified last meeting, especially for the etiquettes that you have to observe when you are utilizing or using this digital platforms. So these are the positive habits that you are trying to portray online when you are engaging with, in terms of digital content and in terms of the online communities also. And that is really emphasizing your behavior, the etiquette or the ethical standards that you're following, with respect to, especially for the word respect. If you are trying to respect somebody online, it will, as what I mentioned to you before, that if you are trying to have this respect, as it is being mentioned, that respect begets respect, diba? So it will really observe when we say digital citizenship, how were you able to portray yourself online then? So it will foster constructive interactions and contribute to the healthy ecology of the online environment then. So there will be an example of digital citizenship here. In this case, you are communicating with respect, respecting other privacy, adding helpful information or context to a discussion or relevant pages, seeing things from another perspective, supporting others by offering useful feedback, encouraging them, sharing work they're proud of. So, in terms of digital citizenship class, those are the types, examples of digital citizenship, wherein involving of important thing right there is being respectful online, how you communicate online, how you behave online, the netiquette that we call. You're observing your privacy. Then you're understanding the diverse perspective, the culture of specific individual, and wherein you're maintaining um the you're also trying to accept or contribute for those valuable content, for example. And that also includes providing, could be helpful feedback to other individuals, and that includes constructive feedback. For example, you're trying to be open online, wherein you're trying to collaborate positively. Now, those are the examples of digital citizenship, and we also do have here the digital literacy. When we say digital literacy, from its definition, it is actually referring to an individual's ability to find, evaluate, and clearly communicate information through typing and other media on various digital platforms. It is evaluated by an individual's grammar, composition, typing skills, and ability to produce text, images, audio, and designs using technology. In terms of digital literacy, it is actually referring to your ability. It could be ability on how you cope up, ability to search for, to assess with, effectively communicating in terms of information using this digital platform. Those includes your could be your grammar, your composition, your typing skills, for example. That is considered as digital literacy, since you're somewhat familiar in terms of those um online content, for example, you're easily to adapt this kind of fast changing environment, diba? So when there's a new thing, you're trying to like suit in that particular place. In digital literacy, it is about being able to make sense of digital media. This occurs through meaningful and sustainable consumptions and curation patterns that improve an individual's potential to contribute to an authentic community. And this includes the ability to analyze, prioritize, and act upon the countless digital media 24 digital media 21st century citizens encounter on a daily basis. That means to say, class, it is actually involving the ability, your ability in how you understand, how you engage with digital media in a meaningful way. It includes your skills, how you analyze such a thing, how you were able to prioritize, navigate those newly and digital platform. How are you able, you're actually well versed enough in terms of this kind of platform actually. Now, digital literacy refers to, we're done with that, that has been mentioned earlier, so too much for that one. There will be a principles of digital literacy class. There will be a comprehension, there will be interdependence, there will be social factors, and curation. Let's take it one by one then. So in terms of this comprehension, it is basically the ability to extract the implicit and explicit ideas from a media. So, from its word, comprehension, this is actually involving not just your understanding with that literal meaning of information, but also you're trying to interpret deeper. You're trying to delve or check I mean, you're trying to explore more your ideas, or you're trying to um explore what will be the meaning behind, includes extracting the explicit ideas. Those you're trying to make it clear, you're trying to understand it well. um from that kind of information, because you're trying to delve, you're trying to make sure that you really understand with that certain thing. Now, in terms of interdependence, it is how one media form connects with another, whether potentially, metaphorically, ideally, or literally. In terms of interdependence, actually, it actually refers to the way um, different forms of media are connected or rely on each other in various ways, actually. So this connection can be literal, as what we've met. For literal, actually, this is how you like you're interdependent in that kind of thing. You're interdependent, for example, in terms of a website that you're in website actually class, for example, there will be a links right there. When you actually learn such thing, when you're actually trying to open that one, for example, there will be a link, you can click that one. you can click that link and it will go over into another link, for example, that is interdependent into the other another link. That's how actually how it work for the literal meaning of that one. So in interdependence, this is actually just referring to the connection between those different media platforms. For example, in this platform, um you're trying to understand such a meaning. So, in order for you to explore more things, there will be another attachment that you can explore more. That's actually interdependence meaning behind. Now, the another principles will be the social factors. For social factors, sharing is no longer just a method of personal identity or distribution, but rather can create messages of its own. Who shares what to whom, through what channels, can not only determine the long term success of the media, but can create organic ecosystems of sourcing, sharing, storing, and ultimately repackaging media. So, in terms of social factors class in media, it refers to how sharing content has evolved from being just personal or distribution tool to a way of creating and spreading messages. So this is the act of sharing. Who actually shares that? Who shares what with whom and through which channels, for example, can influence this the success of media and generating like organic um networks for sourcing, sharing, storing, and repackaging contents. So our goal in this one, sharing goes beyond personal expression or distributions. Actually, it creates more its own messages. The who, the what, the how, why, how is right there. You're trying to absolutely investigate it well. You're trying to check to go beyond the limitation. So this is actually the social factors dealing all about. So you're trying to also observe what will be the other meaning behind. You could also try to learn from the other ideas, from the other perspective of other individuals. It could be like that. So there will be another um principle will be curation. For curation, this is actually should resist data overload and other signs of digital hoarding, while also providing the potential for social curation, working together to find, collect, and organize great information. In curation class, it is really simple. It actually involves how you manage such information in a way that you avoid data overload, or when you say data digital hoarding, that is digital overload. So it actually focuses on selecting, for example, you're selecting such perspective. You're trying to organize valuable content. So you're trying to check what will be those information. It will actually connect into the previous topic that we do have. Those though what topic is that? The selective exposure. It will still goes back right there. So it focuses on selecting and organizing valuable content while also encouraging social curation, collaborating with other perspective. The social factors will also be affected in terms of that. You're trying to collect, you're trying to organize um the information, you're trying to have it well arranged while maintaining the credibility that you really understand, and also it will align into your perspective then. So you know what, our other topic before then, this is really connected to that one. If you can definitely understand this well, if you try to comprehend it well, of course all of our topic is really connected into the previous discussions that we've discussed. Now let's actually move on into promoting digital literacy. In promoting digital literacy class, you have to encourage there will be encourage self exploration, meaning online learners should be able to explore the digital resources on their own, which emphasizes the real world application of these vital skills. So of course, since we are actually in the 25th century already, so you are making um It is actually um we are encouraged to explore more. And you know what, especially for installing such application, we're trying to observe already how this application behave, especially if you don't know this kind of thing. You're trying to search into Google, or we're trying to also manipulate this AI platform in order for us to better understand this kind of platform, right? So there's a lot of things that we can definitely make sure to visualize and to understand this kind of real norms. Um you're trying to allow yourself to explore more. You're trying to promote this platform right now in order for you to develop your critical thinking, your critical skills, for example, with this new reality. Now, there will be also create and online resources. For formal online training and digital literacy can help online learners differentiate between fact and fiction, especially in regards to online resources that may contain accurate information or opinion-based content. So in this one, and creating an online resources class, meaning that it will also help you as a learner to distinguish between factual information and opinion-based content. Actually, in this generation already, since AI is also existing, so it will really you will really be challenged, since you might misinterpret the other perspective, especially if you're trying to search directly into a platform. So it might really affect your improvement in terms of getting that knowledge, in terms of if you really search directly in that AI platform. You know what, AI is not that rational, so you have to make sure that is this real, is this what we call it, the real meaning, or is this a fiction? You have to really assess it like thorough investigation must be done accurately. So in order for you to understand, or there will be a credibility in terms of understanding such meaning, you have to make some investigation before you will before you will make such actions. Or for example, you will begin to, since you're creating online resources, so you have to check a lot of resources. You have to check a lot of related literatures in order for you to prove that this is really the meaning behind. Of course, it's not like you're trying to understand, yes, this is the meaning already. No, it's not like that. You have to make sure everything, so that of course, especially if you are a teacher, you're trying to deliver such message into your students. Of course, you're trying to deliver it well. You have to be ready. You have to make sure that all of the content that you're trying to that you're trying to explain will be that relevant. Because if ever that I'm trying to work on here, if I'm trying to explain you with not connected lesson, so it might mislead you. So, 'di ba, it makes no sense at all. Now, another one, set some ground rules. Online learners need to be aware of how to use the online tools effectively. This also involves the internet etiquette. For example, they use social media to broaden their understanding and interact with peers. So in terms of this one class, it is really important that you're setting ground rules for in online platform, because of course it will really like it will if you're setting ground rules, it will promote your, like, since you're trying to make it you're promoting digital literacy, so of course you have to make sure that everything is actually well ano ni siya gani, um organized. So of course, you have to make sure that everything is accurate. So setting ground rules, or what will be the rules that you will begin to implement. For example, that you will need to be responsible in all costs. So you have to make sure that you will be going to investigate first before you will be going to grasp this kind of lesson. So make sure that you're before you're trying to engage with this kind of for example, your peers is actually sharing this knowledge. So in terms of that, the selective exposure will comes in. So you're trying to check first, you're trying to comprehend first if this kind of perspective may align into your perspective. Is it credible enough? Is it good enough? So you have to make sure that you do have your own rules for that one. Because of course, if you're trying to understand that first, if you're I mean if you're trying to understand and and accept that in the first hand without trying to comprehend that is this real, or is it a myth or a fiction or whatever. So of course it will really affect your it will really affect you still. So for example, if I'm a teacher, if I'm trying to read online without trying to understand if this is really a good meaning or description behind, then for example, I'm actually teaching mathematics. If I really not investigate that kind of situation, how can I deliver this effectively, 'di ba? So you have to set specific rules in order for you to manage it comprehensively, manage this accurately. Everything will must be set into everything must set into the right place. So that's why setting rules is really effective. Next, there will be evaluating your current e-learning strategies. You have to review the e-learning strategies that are already in place and determine how you can interject learning technologies, meaning evaluating those e-learning strategies right now. It is actually involving reviewing those existing method and identifying the opportunities the, to integrate new learning strategies to enhance, for example, the effectiveness of online education. For example, there will be platform already now that this is actually promoting this kind of descriptions, for example, and of course you can validate that into another perspective. And of course, after that one, or it could have been better that you've actually copied everything from the other perspective, and then you will also upload that into the AI, um then copy the other resources, upload an AI, and make it generalized. Or, I mean, you have to summarize everything, and so that you will be going to compare. And of course, you will be going to check if it will be arranged, and then from that time, you will really understand this effectively. So, of course, you have to evaluate you have to strategize also in the first place. So it's up to you how will you manage in those kind of thing, since in our generation we already do have this kind of tools. It is really powerful, so it's up to you in how you manage this well. So if you're trying to manage that, maybe in the future you might become Albert Einstein, that you're actually knowledgeable enough, well versed enough, since you're trying to understand this well, compare this, compare that. So of course it will be organized, and of course it will really have a big impact into yourself at the end, diba? Now next, encourage learner generated e-learning content. Digital literacy can enhance online learner performance, support, and motivation, especially when they are encouraged to showcase their work. Ask online learners to create their own e-learning blogs or virtual presentation based on the subject matter. So of course, class, if you actually learn something from online perspective, it might good as well that you will also create your own content. What if by your own content, there might be another individual that might also learn from you. So from your perspective, or if you do have your own talent, your own skills, that you can also show that online, so it will be better, diba? Since in our generation right now, the more that you share, also the more that you also share that into another into public, for example, it might that you also provide informations to them, and it will be good, since, for example, as time goes by, class, as time keeps on innovating, as time is also trying to innovate, improve. So you are trying to explore more. You're trying to assess all of those deliverables online. So if you're trying to share your perspective online, that this is your research, for example, so of course it will be flagged into their platform that this is the current resources. So it might be good, diba? It will be a big impact in the in the future. Now, include digital literacy simulation. I'm so sorry if I'm actually talking so fast. I'm sorry if you might what we call this one, struggle to understand with those kind of thing. Make sure to just pause for a while if you were not able to understand how I discuss, if you can't cope up. Okay, so include digital literacy simulation. E-learning simulation facilitate real world experience in a risk-free setting. Online learners are able to test out new technologies and familiarize themselves with the LMS platform. You can also assign each online learner with a problem they must solve using online. So actually, right now, class, we do have a lot of LMS. When we say LMS, those are the learning material system. Which, for example, we do have the MS Team wherein teacher were able to set exams, for example, quizzes like what I did. So of course you can actually utilize that also. For example, if you're promoting digital literacy, digital platform, if you're also trying to conduct for example, if you're trying to build for example, if you're a teacher, you're trying to strengthen other individuals, you can actually include those kind of e-learning or this kind of LMS platform. Now, we also do have host a live agent. Live events give online learners the opportunity to use a variety of online tools such as web browsers, video conferencing software, and social media sites. They are also able to interact with their peers and online instructors remotely. Now, hosting a live event will really allow online learners to use various digital tools nowadays. For example, TikTok. Just like me, that um, I'm also keep on doing some live in TikTok, for example, or any social media platform where you're in. You can also learn something. So it will be engaging actually. But there's a lot of strategies that you can engage online. Now let's actually deal with digital footprints. When we say digital footprints, it is the same with footprints. Also that when you go somewhere else, there will be a footprints that you may leave your footprint behind. It is also the same with that perspective. But in digital footprints, when I say digital footprint, this is also a digital shadow, refers to one's unique set of traceable digital activities, actions, contributions, and communications manifested on the internet or digital devices. Meaning, in digital footprints, it is referred to the collection of traceable online activities, your actions, your communications that you've actually leave behind on the internet side or through your digital devices. That's actually digital footprints all about. It is a trail of data or electronic breadcrumbs you create while using the internet. It includes the website you visit, the emails you send, and information you submit to online resources or services. So in this cases, class, um, this is a trail of data that you leave behind when using the internet, including those websites that you are visiting, the history that you do have, the message that you've sent into your messenger. Those are your digital footprints. Everything that you're doing online is actually a digital footprint. Now, we also do have the benefits of digital footprints. What are those? There will be a fraud or legal issues can more easily be detected. Personalization, like suggested products or related advertising, serves to add value to our use of the internet. Companies can more easily offer incentive based on interest and needs, sometimes resulting in cost savings. So actually, class, digital footprints right now, it will really help us to detect easily those fraud, those legal issues more easily to more easily to be can be tracked easily actually, since recommended um such as recommended product or targeted advertisement will really also um easily be tracked, diba? So if you're trying to um do online platform class, if you're trying to check the feedback, you can also check right there if this is a trusted resource, I mean services, a trusted store in Shopee. You can actually see right there. You can also see if this is a fraud or whatsoever, if this is dealing with legal issues, for example. You can also personalize the advertisement. For example, what will be the advertisement that you're trying to watch in the first place? It will always be the feed into your algorithms. It will be keeps on showing into your what they call this one, into your social media platform also. Other benefits: personal data can be used to generate revenue without our knowledge. It can be annoying and distracting to be constantly inundated with advertisement and information. Purchase behavior data may be used as a basis to reduce credit limits or increase interest rate. So meaning, your personal data class can be used to generate revenue without users' knowledge. So this is really bad. So often through targeted advertisement that can become annoying and distracting, like spam, diba? So in this kind of cases, your personal data from your digital footprint can be used to generate revenue without your consent. So um, it can be possible, it may also lead to constant intrusive advertisement, for example, information causing annoyance. So that is really bad nowadays. So additionally from that, there will be purchase behavior data can your platforms online, especially your bank's account, can be used to by companies to adjust credit limit or increase the interest rate. Can be misleading in some ways, diba? Now, there will be a types of footprint: the passive footprint and the active footprint. In passive footprint, this is actually where a user has been online, information has been stored in an online database. This can include where they came from, when the footprint was created, and a user's IP address. A footprint can also be analyzed offline and can be stored in files, which an administrator can access. This would include information on what machine might have been used for, but not who had performed the action. So this type of digital platform class involves a user online activity being stored in an online database, including your IP address. In this kind of footprint class, it is referring to the stored an online database. Like for example, you're trying to use this kind of um website, so it will be sent into the database of that specific platform. So it could be like that, or into your mobile application. There will be it will be stored into the local history into your devices. Could be like that. Now, in your active footprint is created when you post online by sending an email, publishing a blog post or tweet, or uploading a photo on social media, where a user might have logged into a site when editing or making comments, such as an online forum or a social media site. The registered name or profile can be linked to the post that have been made, and it is surprisingly easy to find out a lot about a person from the trails you leave behind. Meaning, in active footprint class, it is really active, instant, wherein you can really see that you're trying to comment, you're trying to react. Those are the active footprint. For example, in the online live, for in your teacher, for example, like in my TikTok live, you're trying to put such comments right there. That is considered as an active footprint. Or else into the Facebook also, you're trying to put some comments or reactions. That is considered as a active footprint. Now, there will be a tips to comment your digital footprints under control. How to do that? There will be perform regular social audit. How to work on that?
at least once a year, search the social sites where you have accounts. Check your profiles, both to analyze what you've posted and to see what others have shared. So of course, because it is really better that you're trying to investigate, you're trying to review what are those tools, what are those applications that you are trying to manage, what that you're trying to create online, what you have to make sure that everything um you have to make sure that you were able to review everything, because it could be because somewhat the malice, for example. Make sure that everything must be observed, since sometimes your informations right there can be used against you. For example, if they are trying to use your information for such malicious attacks in the future, so it might that you're trying to observe that am I using this platform in an ethical way? Am I using the platform in a right way? So you have to perform those investigations as well. And one thing, search yourself online. If find out what web knows about you. Is the information accurate, and is this something you want to what everyone to see? Conducting an online reputation audit is using search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo, and more likely there will be AI already now. Simply type in your name to see what comes up. Many people are surprised by the results when they've searched their name online. So meaning you have to conduct an online reputation audit as well, class. You have to check your name online, if what will be the online platform knows about you. Basically, if searching online, when you search yourself online, there will be a flag nga you're actually being banned by this kind of thing, for example, or you're actually wanted in NBI, for example. You do have such cases. So your name is actually do have a lot of issues, for example, online. So it is important that you're trying to investigate further in terms of your informations online also. And then take control of your profile and post. It is important to change your profile settings in your social media accounts. More specifically, control who follows you and becomes your friend. Limit who can actually see your post. Control which person can tag you. Of course, it is important also, class, that particularly who will really see your post, especially if your post online is somewhat private. So make sure that you will control what will be the thing that that the other individuals might see, and what other individuals can definitely avoid then. So especially your birthday, especially your name, your full name, it could have been better that you're using alias, especially in Facebook, so that not totally alias, not totally your full name, but it could have been better that you're trying to hide your personal details. What if there will be such cases that your personal name will be used against you? What I'm trying to say is, what if that you that somebody will try to use your personal details in terms of scamming? It will be a big issue in the future. So that's why it is really important that you have to take control with those kind of cases, especially your birthday, especially your address. Everything might under control. Okay. Now, other ways to protect yourself online. Delete all tracking cookies and browsing history from your computer regularly. You have to always clean your computer, your mobile devices, so that especially when there will be like malicious attacks possibly that might occur. So that is really important that you're trying to regularly clean your data. Review security settings on social network and stay updated on new features and settings. When there will be an updated features in terms of those application, class, make sure that you are trying to upgrade as much as possible, so that because those upgrades, class, is also for the better, for the security in when for the common good, especially for securing your privacy, your security. Those are the intended features that they're trying to observe those upgrades actually. So make sure to regularly observe those cases, okay? Make sure to use the latest version of your internet browser. It is really better that you're trying to always upgrade your browser, especially if they're trying to strengthen this platform because they might see what will be the discrepancies in the last in the previous version, for example. And choose a safe and secure password that are unique to each login, and be sure to change them regularly. So that's what I mentioned to you since then, that it might be good that in each of your digital platform, your password might it is better that your password is not totally the same. So it's you can actually utilize those ways of implementations of creating password as what I've shared to you. For example, the first name, first you have your favorite songs. So for example, your favorite song is like this, and the first letter of each um for example, the first stanza, you will get the first letter of each word. So you will begin to put that you will be going to create that as your password. So that is really strong already. So it will really protect your account. So all of your accounts in terms of social media, it is really better that you will try to use different passwords, so that to really protect, to really secure, to avoid any um hacking, for example. So it is really better to observe that one. So I'm actually sharing you that one because that is also the thing that I've also learned from the previous webinars that I've attended also. So next there will be use cash instead of credit cards. So if you do have especially for online platform, make sure could have been better if the payment information will be posted publicly. Make sure to use cash instead than credit cards, unless if you're trying to shop in the in the store like SM, that's fine. But online, no, no, because when your information online will be posted will be publicly posted. So it's not good because your privacy will be there will be data breaches that might happen, for example. So you have to protect your information, your cards at all cost, miskan wala pa na iya credit already. Okay. Now, opt out of providing personally identifiable information. You may not be required by law to provide your telephone number when making a purchase. As what I mentioned to you, that it could have been better that you will also try to avoid those informations that you will always put your you are not required to put your information, all of your details is not actually required to put online, especially for Facebook in terms of creating accounts in any social media platform or any application. You are being asked that you've agreed with these terms and conditions. So by agreeing that one, they are not liable into such cases if ever that you are um being a victim of data breaches, for example, they are not liable into that one. So make sure to be mindful in all of your actions. Remember that anything posted is public, even if your social network settings are private, as the information is stored in a server network. So always be mindful on that one, because when everything was posted, even that you were set that as a private, but of course it has been recorded into the databases of that platform. So of course that has been set still online, and it might be tracked by the programmers or for those hackers. And that's why we have to be to make sure that you're trying to always protect yourselves. So that's the end of our discussion for this week 11. So make sure to actually take note all of those kind of things, class, and make sure to also try to understand that we cannot have our face-to-face meeting already, since you've also decided that we will be going to have our discussion by pre-recorded video already. So since you were able to listen for the whole video, make sure to put a comment here, and this is a 5 points in your quiz. If you were able to put a comment here, a 5 sentence comment, class, of what will be your takeaways, you have to put down here in this video. Make sure to put in a comment section what will be your last name, only last name, okay? Don't put your first name, and last name and section, and it will be recorded in 5 points addition into your quiz. And what will be your takeaways in this last one? So make sure to clearly state your own words. If it is actually AI generated, it will be automatically marked as zero. Your own word, I don't care if what will be your perspective right there. I don't mind with that one. You know me well already. So thank you so much, everybody. See you next week for your examination. Hopefully, you will really study and make sure to strive more, push for more, my dear Litera student. Thank you so much, everyone, and goodbye for now.